Hi folks, we hope you'll enjoy the upcoming answers to this hot question. I am a 100-year-old human and a World War II veteran. I want to share my life and experiences with people who might be helped by them. Ask me anything. My great-grandmother lived to 108 and she told the best stories about life and learning. What is one thing you'd like to share with younger generations? Just use common sense. We're effed. How's it like watching your children actually grow old? A great delight. What a wholesome answer. This is a most wholesome thread. What was the most tense moment of your life? When I stepped forward to get married. No kidding, just briefly, I thought I was gonna faint when the pastor asked those questions. In my opinion, a little nervousness is good. Tells you that you're taking it seriously and understand all the unknowns you're committing to. What's a food you loved in the past that doesn't taste the same anymore? Good home fries. Laughs, I'll have to think about that. We got more acquainted with lamb instead of beef. I can say he loves his oysters, always has and always will. What's the best and worst thing about being 100 years old? Best thing, being alive, laughs. One of us. What did you do in the years after the war? Was it directly back to school or something else? Got my license in pharmacy, saw recruitment for FDA and joined them, and traveled to see how other people lived. What a life. Thanks for joining us on Reddit today. My question, have you been to Germany or Japan since the war? What were your thoughts? The wife and I have been to Germany since for vacation. I've been to Japan since in regard to FDA regulations. Just looking at their food habits, and their environment, just appreciating what they had. Thank you for your answer. Most shocking thing you photographed in World War II that you did not expect? Let's not put it on what I photographed. In Normandy, of all the areas that photo planes did, was the total area that they put into pictures, that ended up in something like 10,000 total prints. We'll add something later on, he says. Has reaching 10 decades given you any new insight? The world is a mess. Laughs, I may want to modify that answer later. What's one thing that you remember from your experiences that doesn't fail to make you smile? Whenever he talks about his late wife, Audrey, there is a light that illuminates his entire being. He loved her so much. She died a little after I was born, so I didn't get to know her unfortunately. His calendar in his bedroom is still on the month/year that she died. She was very dear to him. Holy crap, that's deep. What do you know at 100 years old, that wish you knew far earlier? Answer delayed. That's a sticker. How to work with other people. Insufficient data for meaningful answer. Living 100 years, what was the biggest leap of technology that you've experienced? What seemed the most unreal when it came out? On computers, it was something that took me a while to catch on to, and how to use it. When they first became a thing, he was awed. On television, essentially the same answer. Military or not, what achievement has made you happiest in life? Having an excellent family and superb friends. I recently came across a shoebox full of letters that my great-grandparents wrote to each other during World War II. Did you have anyone you were writing sweetheart letters to? For general letters, just a few people I met in the service, Air Force. For sweetheart, there was a girl in study hall every other seat in the auditorium. I liked her very much. She had a Spanish book, I looked to the other side of me. Another girl had a dictionary, I used her dictionary to write to the first one. She thought I knew Spanish but I didn't, she was mad at me. Thank you so much for your service. Can you tell me who your favorite president was in your lifetime? Hoover. He was not very popular, but he was a good president. Just what you'd read about him, that's all. That's all you have to go on. I'll be honest, I never expected to hear someone speak about Hoover as a living person. Wow. What was his favorite plane that he got to photograph? World War II or anything afterwards? And thank you for your service, sir. P-38 fighter/photo. The fighter aircraft was used mainly in Europe area. The photo area was used to take the guns out, put in 2 or 3 sets of cameras, and the print/negatives that were produced were 18 inches wide and 9 inches deep. Most of those photos were made around 20,000 feet, so that gives you the scale for how you want to measure it. The P-38 was used somewhat in the Pacific. The P-38 was an escort for the bombers, but it was mainly recognized as a fighter plane, but around Europe, big river there, they put 150 and 300-pound bombs and made them into bombers, because the Germans would look up, oh they're just taking photos, and kaboom. What's the best advice you can give a young adult who is unsure of where they are headed in life? Might set up on Pikes Peak and say my opinions, but Pikes Peak might be too high and the words are lost. Hello sir, thank you for your service. Which theater did you photograph? It was quite a long time ago, but do you have any memories that stand out? Were you issued any weapons? M1, from New Guinea to Japan, and everything in between. Have to think about that. As for weapons, 45 pistol. Who was the most influential person you've met over your life? My dad and my mother, by the standards they held. How do you feel about how you've used your 100 years so far, and if you could go back to any time and give your past self some advice, when and what would it be? Listen carefully. Firstly, thanks for your service. What are the 3 things you learned in your life, traveling and encountering the cruelness of World War II? What are those 3 advices you would give your grandchildren, daughter? When you see something you don't understand, then use whatever research situation you have to find out more about it and how it can help you in your life. Also, how to find a beautiful blonde wife, laughs. What kind of camera did he work with during World War II? Did photography always feel like work, or was it ever fun/a hobby? Started with Kodak box camera. Then moved to 35mm, can't remember the name. Then got a press camera, 4x5 prints. It was a fun hobby even at work. To make people realize what was involved. Certain things we did, we used black light crayons, and particularly we photographed with the backlight rodent's path, mice and rats, and we can show that later how they damaged food that was in storage. I'll explain more on that later. Ass or tits? Ass. I'll be honest, I was not expecting an answer. What would have been your answer or question? Leave it in the comments below. Slap that like and subscribe button for more, and check out the link in the video description for even more answers. Peace out, and catch you in the next video.